I den här boken, Flickan med 7 namn, som har givits ut i 20 länder, så ger hon en helt unik inblick i en av världens mest hänsynslösa diktaturer. Hon beskriver hur hon blev hjärntvättad från det att hon föddes, hur hon trodde att ledarna i landet var gudar på riktigt, hur regimen med skräck och våld och informatörer och offentliga avrättningar skrämde en hel generation till tystnad, och hur alla generationer efter det tror att Nordkorea är världens bästa land, befolkat av ett utvalt folk, utan någon som helst information om resten av världen, fullständigt isolerade. Först när Hyeonseo var 17 år gammal på 90-talet, när Nordkorea hade förlorat miljontals människor i en av de värsta svältkatastroferna i modern tid i proportion till befolkningen, så började hon ifrågasätta livet i Nordkorea. Hon flydde till Kina och ägnar idag all sin tid åt att berätta om Nordkorea för att försöka få till en förändring. För Nyhetsmorgons räkning så fick jag träffa henne i veckan.
From the outside, what we hear from North Korea is that it's brutal.
Yeah.
How? In what way is life in North Korea brutal?
Because what I really surprised living in free world right now, people are talking about animals' rights. When I heard that for the first time, I couldn't imagine there's even animals' rights can exist in this world, because in North Korea we don't even have humans' rights. So that was really ridiculous when I heard that for the first time. But we were deprived under the regime, so there's no freedom of speech, movement, religious speaking, nothing. Just for 73 years, the North Korean people were completely became modern-day slaves because we were completely cut off from the outside world until today. And also, we just grew up in fear with constant public executions that happens until even today. And then that's continuing. The sound of the bullet is becoming bigger by the undercurrent dictator. And that's why I witnessed my first public execution when I was 7, and then political prison camp, where we have so many camps around the country, and sometimes the whole family just disappeared in the middle of the night.
Could you tell me more about the public executions, starting with the first one that you saw when you were 7 years?
At that time, I didn't understand why even young kids are forced to watch the public executions. So we were even canceled the classes to watch the public executions. So, for example, the flyers of the public execution was posted everywhere, on the street, on the building of the train station, near the schools, about the flyers, about the date, location, and then the victim's name, etc. My first experience was hanging. And I still remember, the people who attended the public execution is massive people, a lot of people. But I was young at the time. I know it's a scary things happening. And then I was looking at the others, their crowd face. And then what really struck me at the time was I can't really even hear their breathing sound. So calm, so nobody's saying any words. Just I can see from their face in fear. And then during the famine in North Korea, I saw another public execution. That man was dying in front of his family members.
Did they say anything, the family members? Did they cry?
No.
Why?
They can't.
Why?
If they cry or if they have sympathy about the victims who's dying, then the regime considers that they are all together, either betrayals or either criminals, and they are criticized severely on site, or they are going to have a problem.
But what could it be? What could the crime be?
It's so many ridiculous reasons. Of course, there are some criminals, real criminals who killed, who murdered. Yeah, those are in the public execution. But not only those people, so many ridiculous reasons. For example, during the famine, especially, we had a lot of public executions. The father or brother went to China, and then brought 10 kilograms of rice or baked rice from Chinese people to feed his starved family. And then because of that reason, he crossed the border into China, and then he was caught, and then he was in public execution. And some people just, who killed a cow, killing a cow because starved. They wanted to eat something. So in North Korea, killing a cow is illegal because the cow is belong to government property. That's why we are not allowed to kill it. So in North Korea, in market, we don't have beef.
Could you explain why North Korean people do not revolt? Why don't they scream and shout and revolt and complain?
You know why?
Explain, please.
Because when we are suffering, when we are starved, or when we see the public executions or political prison camp, everything, we thought that's normal life, because we thought the outside of North Korea, the other countries are more suffering than us. The system is more terrible than us. That's what regime told us the entire 7 decades, that people in America or South Korea or Japan, other countries, people are suffering. They didn't have enough money to go to school or to pay for hospital fees, so people are dying in front of a hospital. So that's why we thought everything in North Korea is paradise compared to other countries. That's why we thought that was normal. And then like the public executions, I thought other countries are there killing people more horrible way than my country does. We never learned what's democracy or what's capitalism or human rights things. We never learned. And no comparison, we couldn't compare with other countries because we are completely just captured in a huge virtual prison entire our lives.
How do they manage to keep the outside world apart from a whole country? Doesn't anything come in?
You know how first of all, majority of North Korean people are not allowed to leave other country, and the only small percent of people, including diplomats, they are traveling, right, to other countries, including my father, he did. But when they return to North Korea, they are signing paper. And then even if they are not signing paper, every North Koreans instinctively, they know that they shouldn't reveal any words, what they see, what they heard from outside. Then if they reveal any information about the outside, then it's not only kill themselves, sending all his family members together to the political prison camp, or they're might die in public executions. Because of the horrifying system, people can't share. So it started from our grandparents' generation. My grandparents' generation completely, they just kept quiet. And then my parents' generation, they started from their generation, became brainwashed. And then that was, connected to us. So for 2 generations, we never heard about the truth.
Now that you can see with the Olympics that North Korea and South Korea are talking and the whole world is watching and expecting something to change when it comes to North Korea, do you have the same hope, or what do you see when you see this communication between North and South Korea?
I'm thinking right now the whole show, that should be Olympic game, right? But to me, it's like a huge, ridiculous show right now, to me, because I'm sometimes confused whether is it really South Korea's Winter Olympics or North Korea's Olympics. I'm very confused about that because the South Korean government, current government, they are just a desire to, for advertising to the world or to have a better relationship with North Korea. They're just begging to North Korean regime to join the Winter Olympics together. And then which in the end, the regime said yes. And then what's happening right now, they're sending massive 500 people. I mean, the sports players is not that much among the 500, but they're using these people as a propaganda tool, sending to South Korea, and then where there's so many Western media will be appeared. And then they are just PR themselves about the greatest country, communism country. That's their purpose.
Have you any hope for freedom for the North Korean people?
But I think within 10 years, maybe even less than 10 years, I can see the changes of what I want to see between two countries, because the time is come to very end, because I know there's no dictator can last forever, and North Korean people was suffering for 73 years. When the water started boiling, when it's 100 degrees, it will be exploded. Yeah. So right now the water is started boiling, you know. So when the question is when could be the 100 degrees, then I'm thinking they were gonna come maybe within 5 years, because the regime even has the nuclear power right now, which is hard to stop from outside country. But what's more scary thing is once people know about the reality, the regime or dictator can't dictate the country even with the nuclear power. That's why helping them to awakening from their brainwash. So the outside countries, we need to help people to, you know, send the information to make them awaken.
And then the water will boil. Thank you very much.
Thank you.